Prime Minister speaks to the importance of proper management of Grenada's resources.
If you make $10 and you spend 50, you must be in trouble sooner or later. So it doesn't take a scientist to understand. We cannot but be responsible the way we manage our own affairs.
Details to this story and more in the National Report. With the National Report, I am Rikisha St. Louis. The country's surplus should be an investment for its further development and must be managed responsibly. That's according to Prime Minister and Minister for Finance, Dr. the Right Honourable Keith Mitchell. Dr. Mitchell was at the time presenting the key priority areas at the 2018 budget retreat.
The surpluses that are gained by our managing ourselves properly cannot be used just to pay additional salaries. Otherwise, we're going back to where we were before, sorry. I like to stay where we are, and even more. The surpluses must be tied to the building of the capital stocks of our country. By that I mean, it must be invested in creating further development in the country.
He said there was no need for Grenada to implement the Fiscal Responsibility Act or the Structural Adjustment Program if its resources were managed properly.
We have to use our surpluses wisely in response to the competing demands on our resources. Sisters and brothers, we should not have had to have a Fiscal Responsibility Act. We should not have had to have a structural adjustment program supported by friends regionally and internationally for the decisions, many and most of the decisions we took. We should have done it for ourselves long time ago.
Prime Minister Mitchell said Grenada is fortunate that even with a low capital stock investment, it can still maintain an environment that pulls private sector activities to bring in much needed revenue. The community of La Poterie in St. Andrew is on the government's list with regard to the upgrade of playing field. Since returning to office in 2013, the Keith Mitchell-led administration has made it a priority to upgrade playing fields and sporting facilities. Some of the upgrades done include expansion of fields, erection of basketball nets, and installation of night lights. Work on the La Poterie field commenced last week. The upgrade will include the leveling and expansion of the field, the construction of walls and pavilions, a basketball court, cricket turf, and a Kalinago house to preserve the many remains collected at the site during the project. GIS spoke with Sports Minister Honorable Roland Bola at the project site.
As a government and a ministry in particular, we hold the philosophy that we have a lot of raw talent in Grenada in different sporting disciplines, and that one of the things that will help harness those kind of talents and expose them and have them up to the level to compete at a regional and international level is ensuring that we have proper playing surfaces and surfaces where our athletes can find more time. So for example, if you have a playing field that is lit, one of your athletes, if they are a student, for example, would have sufficient time for school, get home, do their homework and so, and at 6:30 or 7 o'clock in the night, because the facility is lighted, they can do an hour or 2 hours of practice. So that's a philosophy that we hold, and we are working towards that. I must say, though, that we probably would have liked to have much more fields or facilities, be it hard court or playing field or so, in a better condition by now, more of them being lighted up. Inclusive of the National Cricket Stadium. But we are working towards it. It's a slow march, but we are progressing.
Minister Bola says Phase 1 of the project is funded by the National Lotteries Authority. Phase 2 will be funded by the Government of Grenada. He anticipates the project will be done in 4 phases. Community activist Evan Bowler is optimistic that the new facility will bring huge benefits to the community and, by extension, St. Andrew.
I think they do need that. And in addition to that, the additional income that people are going to get when this field is completed is going to be a great benefit to the community.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
The Aedes aegypti mosquito spreads the dengue, chikungunya, and Zika viruses. It only needs a small amount of water to breed. Check for stagnant water regularly. Buckets including the rim should be drained and kept dried. Avoid using flower pot plates, but if you do, ensure they are emptied every 2 days. Get rid of water that settles in potted plants. Dish rack trays should be emptied daily. If your pipe leaks, throw away the collected water and rectify the leakage promptly. Mosquitoes also breed around the roots of plants. Change the water, rinse the roots, and scrub the vase to remove mosquito eggs daily. Remember, by destroying mosquito breeding sites, we can prevent dengue, chikungunya, and Zika. A message from the Ministry of Health and Huggins.
Top performer in the 2017 CAPE Unit 1 exams, Jason Phillip, was one of the young, bright scientific minds selected to this year's prestigious student program for innovation in science and engineering, a 4-week workshop which was held in Barbados from July 15th to August 13th. It shows that he is not excelling in academics alone. Jason spoke with the Government Information Service about the Barbados experience.
Jason Phillip, who recently topped the CAPE Unit 1 exams with 6 passes, obtaining 1s in accounting, applied mathematics, pure mathematics, and 2s in chemistry and physics, participated in the student program for innovation in science and engineering, along with fellow TAMCC top performer Tamara Bubb.
Spice was a very challenging experience because it pushed me way out of my comfort zone, what I was used to down here. The work was basically all university level science and stuff like that.
Jason's interest is in the field of computer science, particularly software engineering. He says all participants at SPICE were at a very high academic and skill level.
It's university level calculus, physics, biochemistry, and we did some programming and a couple other small subjects. And it definitely opened my eyes to programming because apparently I'm kind of good at it. So that's what kind of made me want to look further into it. They were literally like the smartest people at my age in the Caribbean, so I was definitely very impressed. There were times where there were things I couldn't even understand that well that I could get help from them to do.
And there were still more benefits.
Some very important skills I learned there were time management being a very big one, and also learning how to work in teams like efficiently.
He says this will definitely impact his study habits.
After studying at SPICE, I honestly think studying for year 2 is going to be a bit easier because it was much more intense up there.
Jason urges other suitably qualified students to apply for the SPICE program.
The rewards that you get from going to it far outweigh the challenges because you meet a lot of people that could help you later in life a lot, and you learn a lot of very key skills, so I would definitely recommend applying.
This year's sponsors included long-standing sole contributor the Petner Foundation, founded by Nicholas Earl Braffett, and newcomer the Eastern Caribbean Central Bank. For the National Report, I'm Annette Moore.
The government of Grenada is working to ensure that the 2017 back-to-school process is a smooth one, so says Education Minister Honorable Anthony Boson. He says it is important that the government ensures its various programs which aid in the back-to-school process transitions without hiccups. The government this year has spent $200,000 to purchase new books under the school books program and thousands to repair old ones.
We have been assured by the technical staff or the experts in the Ministry of Education that there will be no shortage of school books for the commencement of this term. We have been given that assurance, and I have to accept it. Because in addition to the present stock of books that we do have in the system circulating, government has recently expended close to $200,000 to purchase additional books to complement what we have in the system. in addition to spending roughly $35,000 to repair some of the damaged books. Therefore, we do believe that with what we have in stock, plus what will be coming in, what have come in terms of additional purchase, and what we have repaired will be sufficient to meet the demands for the school year.
Minister Boson announced that in 2018 there will be a book and curriculum review which will see a change of some, if not most, of the books currently being used in schools.
Come next year, there will be a book review, right, and maybe some changes in the curriculum, which will necessitate the majority of these books going out of circulation. So it will be unwise to spend monies, although we do not want any shortages, but to have excess books there, knowing fully well that those books will not be used for the following school year, right? And in addition, as I said before, e-books will be featuring more prominently in the education system as we move forward.
Meanwhile, the government boasts of other successful initiatives towards the back-to-school process. For its uniform program, this year over $1 million was spent on school vouchers, and for the Prime Minister's school bag program this year, close to 10,000 backpacks will be distributed to students across the island. And that's the National Report. I am Rikisha St. Louis.